Roger was 23 years old, a member of the United States Air Force, in his own house with a firearm that was registered and legal.
Authorities to speak to.
I think you guys have spent a good chunk of this week talking about how you don't want anybody to ever go to jail again for possessing marijuana. Do you think that somebody who was involved in what appears to be a misunderstanding at a traffic stop should be facing 10 years in prison?
So you arguing for this dude. You're arguing for the wealthy golfer who decided to go around the police after somebody just died in front of him. You're arguing for him.
Hey, welcome back to Black Press. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Now let's get to it.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back.
I'm your girl Trish.
I'm your boy, Mr. Define.
And we are
Black
Press.
Press.
If this is your first time watching, please remember to hit like, comment, share, and
Subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications for all future episodes. If you're looking a little dreary, it's because of this whole incident. This tragedy with Roger Fortson, and it just frustrates me. So if you have been paying attention to the entire Diddy scene and you've been distracted, then guess what? That's what the media wanted you to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they let it air on the exact same day that Roger Fortson is being put into the ground. So because you might not have been watching it all, I watched it for you, and I'm gonna show you what Pastor Jamal Bryant had to say about it all.
Murder. He died of stone cold murder, and somebody has got to be held accountable. Are we going to feign as if Roger could not lawfully own a gun? Are we going to act as if because he was black, he was not protected by the Constitution he defended? Roger was 23 years old, a member of the United States Air Force, in his own house with a firearm that was registered and legal. And a police officer came to his door and shot him up like a dog in the street, as if he was not defending the rights of America all over the world. I gotta stop right here because I want to say to you what it is that a lot of you will not like, and that is Roger was better to America than America was to Roger. We owe him a debt of gratitude and a debt of thanksgiving. Roger had the Second Amendment on his side, and he had a right to bear arms. I want to say what may not be popular, but what is absolutely true. The preamble of the Constitution said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and have the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Roger had a right. And if George Zimmerman had a right to carry a gun, then Roger had a right. If Kyle Rittenhouse had a right to carry a gun, then Roger had a right. If Dylan Roof had a right, then Roger had a right. We've got to be able to defend the rights of those who love America and pledge allegiance to the flag. I flew here this morning, and while it is that I was en route to this service, I stopped in my tracks because the number one golfer in America was stopped early this morning because he was on the way to a PGA tour. He did not listen to the police. He ran his car past the police, threatening the physical body of police officers. And you're not going to believe what they did. They arrested him. They fingerprinted him. They took his mugshot. But by 10 o'clock, they released him to play golf. Something is wrong in America. If in fact you have respect as a golfer, but you don't have a respect for an Fortson, who has given their life to this nation. You cannot remain silent in the face of injustice. Roger, ladies and gentlemen.
And he went on. He went deep. I mean, he went deep into the oath of enlistment and the oath of airmen, and it really pisses me off. It pisses me off even more because during the same time this was happening, at the very same time where they putting him 6 feet under, Roger Fortson at the White House, there was this idiot reporter. And if there was any video to go viral, I mean, this one needs to go viral. We need to really let this guy, like, this guy needs to be exposed. Who is this guy? Who is this guy right here? This guy right here. I don't know who this guy is, but he's obviously only cares about wealthy white men in America.
Of course.
And I'm going to tell you why. Like, I don't know who this guy is, but put his face out everywhere because this is ridiculous. This guy is ridiculous. Let me show you why.
And then I have some on the big story today.
Okay.
What does President Biden think about the world's #1 golf?
The biggest story of the day.
And then I have some on the big story today. And then I have some on the big story today. And then I have some on the big story today.
The biggest story.
What does President Biden think about the world's #1 golfer, Scottie Scheffler, being cuffed and then hauled in for a mugshot for what appears to be a misunderstanding at a traffic stop?
So I've seen the reports of Mr.
Why is that your question? That's your biggest story of the day. Your biggest story of the day, while a senior airman is being put 6 feet under after being shot by a Florida sheriff, your biggest question of today is about this wealthy white golfer who did not care enough about the people that died in front of him for him to drive around the entire accident. This guy is ridiculous. This guy's ridiculous. Who is that guy? Somebody find that. Put his name.
Mr. Scheffler's arrest. I just want to say that our hearts go out to the individual that was killed.
Unrelated.
Well, no, let me finish. In the auto accident that preceded his arrest, obviously someone did die. Someone was killed, preceded his arrest. That obviously he was not involved in. So I want to make sure that we share our condolences to that family and their loved ones. Anything else as specifics to his arrest, that would be something for local authorities to speak to.
I think you guys have spent a good chunk of this week talking about how you don't want anybody to ever go to jail again for possessing marijuana. Do you think that somebody who was involved in what appears to be a misunderstanding at a traffic stop should be facing 10 years in prison?
So you arguing for this dude. You're arguing for the wealthy golfer who decided to go around the police after somebody just died in front of him. You're arguing for him. Why are you not talking? Why are you not asking about why?
Because they don't care.
A senior airman
and it doesn't matter
is being buried. He came up grew up in the streets of Atlanta, graduated from McNair High School, went into the Air Force, did everything he's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. He did everything he's supposed to do.
Fought for this country.
He did everything right, and he still didn't. It didn't matter. But you want to know why this guy, why the wealthy golfer is got arrested, and like Jamal Bryant said, and was still out by 10 a.m. Who is this guy? I mean, who is this guy? Who is this guy? This guy's ridiculous.
We've seen the reports. There's a process there. We have to let the legal authorities go to their process and how this all works. I can't comment from here, from the lectern, about something that's being looked into by local authorities. I got to be mindful about that. But let's not forget, someone lost their lives. Not
lost
obviously
their
that
lives.
Preceded this.
But you don't care.
There was an individual that was killed, and there's a family
you
that's
don't care about the airman
a death of a loved
that was
one.
killed.
And so we want to be sensitive to that as well.
The airman that rightfully had a weapon under the Second Amendment in Florida, Pensacola, Florida at that. Super racist. I was in Pensacola, Florida. I think it was like 2016 or 2017. And I was coming out of a Domino's. And right as I'm coming out of Domino's, a bunch of white males driving in a pickup truck shouted out the window the N-word at me. And I smiled and waved because I knew I had my Glock 45 on my hip and they weren't going to run up. But this was 2016, 2017. So why wouldn't he have a weapon in his home?
Yeah. Rightfully so. You have the right to bear arms. But as a black person, if you bearing arms,
if you hadn't seen what happened, I'm gonna show. We'll show you real quick.
Sheriff's office, open the door. Sheriff's office, open the door. Step out. Drop the gun! Drop the gun! It's over there. Drop the gun! I don't have it. 312, shots fired. Suspect down. Do not move! Sheriff's office, open the door! Step out. Drop the gun! Drop the gun! It's over there. Drop the gun! I don't have it. Let me breathe. Do not move. Stop moving. Stop moving. Hang on, man. We got EMS coming for you. Don't move.
You as an officer, knock on the door and hide yourself away from the peephole. So you're yelling sheriff, but nobody can look through the peephole and see that you are the person that you're saying that you are.
Yeah.
Soon as he opens the door, you're asking him to step out as you swing in front of the door and you see a weapon. Now, in the military, we have this thing called 1+1. You have to have 1+1 before you fire your weapon. 1+1 equals there. I see one thing and another thing. Those two coincide, and I need to shoot. This sheriff, deputy, whoever he is, had a 1. That was a weapon. He saw a weapon. There was no other one, except for the fact that being black is considered harmful or needs to be exactly acted on by deadly force. That's literally what it is. Weapon 1. Nothing else.
Yeah.
Weapon not even pointed at him. Weapon still pointing down. Not even aggressive. 1+1. What your second one is a black male is dangerous and I need to kill him. What other one? What's the other one?
So, just a little backstory on like the actual incident. What transpired to let them go to his house?
So there was a domestic violence call of someone who heard something going on in a apartment.
That's just like hearsay.
In a apartment. So it's an A apartment. The police officer goes to the rental office.
Mm-hmm.
They show him to an apartment. Says there's been history in the past of loud shouting and what sounds like domestic violence. But this time it sounds even worse.
Mm-hmm.
But she starts off by saying she doesn't know which apartment it is. They keep walking. The police officer asks her again. Now all of a sudden she mysteriously knows exactly which apartment it is.
Mm-hmm.
They get to the apartment and it's
quiet.
Roger. It's Roger. And he ain't got nobody there with him. But the officer knocks on the door, hides himself from the peephole. Knocks on the door again, hides himself from the peephole. Roger comes to the door with a pistol because it's freaking Pensacola, Florida, where they're freaking racist and directly under Alabama. And then you shoot. It was not even the right apartment. You were at the wrong apartment. The thing is, here's the problem that we have in America. We have police officers, racist or not, that sign up to become protectors and defenders. But the only thing they're trying to protect is their own life. That's their first number one thing. Their first number one thing is, I want to go home safely when I get off my shift. But here's the problem with that. That's not supposed to be your job. Protect and defend does not, neither one of those means defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that they do is their first instinct is to protect themselves, make sure they go home safely, regardless of the other person on the other end of that weapon, if they're innocent or not. You don't care. All you care is, I need to protect myself. You need to get the F out of that freaking uniform.
Yeah, their main thing is to eliminate the threat. And
yes.
Before you're even like, even if you're the person that calls the police like for help, when they come and they step on the scene and they see you as a black person,
you're automatically
guilty. Guilty, threat. They're ready to shift blame and make it like it's your fault.
Yeah, because it's all about there's too many police officers that are all about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're selfish. Like literally, if you think about yourself before you think about whether or not that person deserves to be killed, you should not be in uniform. I understand it's a difficult job. It's not cut out for everybody.
Yeah.
You don't need to be in uniform. Why are you in uniform knowing that you're going to choose yourself over the idea that that person might be innocent? If that person might be innocent, you should be thinking about them before you think about yourself, because that's what you signed up for. That's what you signed up for. Stop playing this stupid game. Like, oh, I got to defend myself. No, you don't. You got to defend that person that pays the taxes that you're supposed to be protecting, not yourself. Then you protect yourself. If not, get out the uniform. If you can't take extra second to think before pulling that trigger of whether or not that person is an actual active harm towards you, if you can't take that extra second, you need to get out the uniform. Get out of the uniform.
Some people are afraid to call the police because you don't know if they're gonna come there to protect you or if you're gonna end up.
Their main focus is to get on shift, stay alive, and get off shift. And if you gotta die, even though you're innocent, so that they can get off shift safely, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then, of course, there's not enough real training. They said that his job, he's trained to defend himself. then that's the problem, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He's not trained to actually protect the citizen who's on the other end of his weapon. He's trained to protect himself.
When you think about it, all they have to do to become police is just pass a couple tests
Mm-hmm.
and do well.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people that can do well and pass tests and become police, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not actually like qualified
Mm-hmm.
to defend and protect someone.
They ain't got it in them.
Mm-mm.
They don't.
And that's this world. Like everybody's so selfish nowadays.
Like that's it. That's why.
Selfish.
That's why. And I'll put him on the screen again. Whoever this guy is. That's why this guy is only worried about. He only is worried about protecting the other wealthy white male.
Mm-hmm. Look at the facial expressions of the people around him.
They're like, why are you asking about this?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this your biggest story of the day?
There's a lot more pressing matters
Why?
in this world than
Why is this your biggest story?
someone who deserves to be
Someone.
jailed.
I mean, dude, please explain. Explain. Because this ain't making no sense. Why, Mr. Gentleman, is this your biggest story? Your biggest story is why did this wealthy golfer get put in jail and is facing 10 years, which you know for a fact he's not going to end up with 10 years. He's not going to end up with any time. You're asking this question because you don't care about the black airman that was murdered a week ago, who's been buried right now as you ask this stupid question. Selfish question. If you know who this guy is, plaster him. This is ridiculous. How dare you even ask that question? How dare he even ask that question on this day? Anyway, I'm disgusted. So if you didn't really care about this, hopefully you care now. If not, then let's go to Diddy. Let's talk about Diddy. I guess.
Before we do go to Diddy, we do want to offer our condolences to his family.
Roger Fortson, like I said, he's a black man, so he's already my brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's a veteran, so he's double my brother. He's from McNair. I from Lithonia, so triple. I mean, if you want to go boohoo, watch the day before. Watch when his mother and his sisters talked about him.
Mm-hmm. He's an outstanding individual. He had a lot of
Did it
people
all right.
Yeah, he had a lot of people that came and spoke on his behalf.
Ridiculous. Anyway, hey, comment. If you don't do nothing but comment, rest in peace, Roger. Justice for Roger. Something.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just keep sitting here and be like, oh well.
Um,
Like we'll put anybody else on the shirt, right?
Yeah.
You can't put Justice for Roger.
I don't think this should be let go. I think this needs to be in front of the news as much as possible.
It should be.
The whole thing with Diddy is a smokescreen. Basically,
it is. It's definitely
because
pay attention to this over here.
Yeah.
Pay attention to this over here. Don't pay no attention to this.
Yep. Because we're gonna discuss it anyways because that's what we do. But always remember and keep at the top of your mind that people of darker toned skin or black in general, that's what we have at the forefront of our mind. Like you come outside, yeah, you're inside your house. Is
Breonna
Yeah,
Taylor was inside of her house.
inside your house. You could be sleeping.
Door kicked in. Her boyfriend shot. They lit the house up.
Exactly. You can be walking down the street, going to jog.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
You can be going to the store. going to just
Get
running
some
and get
Skittles.
something, get something
Trayvon
quick.
Martin.
Trayvon Martin. There's so many stories around being wrongfully killed.
They're gonna have to answer for this, though.
They have to.
When you look into that and you see, although I mean, an entire section of New Birth was filled with airmen. That
Mhm.
you have literally just taken the life. You just taken the life of a military asset.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to answer for this one.
Yeah.
I'm mad because it happened, but there's gonna have to be some changes after this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually upset that Kamala Harris wasn't there either.
I'm disappointed in her.
But
That speaks very loud
yeah,
because I haven't heard her make a public statement. I haven't seen her like
yeah, I haven't seen
come. I
anything
mean,
either.
come on. She's the vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are you doing? this
Well,
is made.
she's doing stuff,
No,
but
I'm
I just
saying
with this I don't.
this a major
Mm-hmm.
loss.
You literally took America's finest.
Mhm.
You can look. I had to. My credit wasn't even good enough to be in the Air Force at the time.
Mhm.
I was a business owner before that, so my everything tanked when the market crashed in 08. But you have to be one of the best to make it to the Air Force. I mean, just mentally.
The
And
smarts that it takes, the integrity, the grit, everything.
they literally took one of the best, and you're gonna have to answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think they might have bit off more than they can chew now. Only worst thing they can do is take the life of a veteran's child, because ain't no telling what a veteran's gonna do. Don't take one of mine. I'm just telling.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.